So let's talk about how this faith we call Christianity began. Because the guy who set the stage for the arrival of Jesus and his ministry was a guy called John the Baptist. And if you look at what he did, he went out, was already part of a sect of people who sort of lived apart from the tradition in town and lived a bit of an ascetic lifestyle, living out in the wilderness. And that stripping away of tradition was important because it encouraged people to see outside and beyond the facets of religious tradition that were so controlling and were basically the traditions of men. And what John the Baptist wanted to do was call people to a little different reality. And that reality was coming down to a river in a very organic situation and being dunked in the river as a sign of repentance, to give up the old ways of, whether you would call it sin, but also give up the old ways of sort of manipulative tradition. And John pointed back at the religious leaders in town and said, you guys are hypocrites because basically you're throwing up stumbling blocks between people who want to find God and using the temple and basically the admission fees and all of that stuff to make it harder to come together in spirit with God. And however you want to define that, basically the reasons behind why John the Baptist was doing what he was doing was to give an opportunity for people to form a more personal connection in their lives with God and in many ways with creation. This whole idea of dunking yourself in a river and being baptized in water was sort of a cleansing act. In other words, wash away that person that you were, or wash away the restrictions of society and find ways to re-express yourself in basically trust with others and trying to provide support and being part of a community that abides in those things. And in doing that, John the Baptist set the stage for a ministry that would come later that not only abided those, but expressed belief in the idea that even the poor are blessed and that God's favor doesn't fall just on the prosperous or the wealthy, or God's favor isn't that kind of favor at all. It's really about a relationship. And that's what John the Baptist did. And that was the honest to goodness approach to basically creating a revolution. John was the guerrilla marketer for Jesus.